Hello YouTubers, it's James Buck. I'm about to go to the community meeting of Chestnut Hill at the beach about the rezoning of the police station. Community meeting is at this beach down here.
Well, Frank said he did apologize at the meeting Sunday night.
He needs to take a walk.
That's what he did, but he's so riled up over this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, good God, is it worth it? Even after he left and after the meeting broke up, his wife went up and he had to apologize. I mean, she was embarrassed.
Well, thank you for showing up. I wish there were more of you. What I would like to say is I called this meeting primarily because I was hoping for a bigger turnout, and I was hoping to get people that have not been showing up at any of the other meetings. And the other item is very few comments at the other meetings from Chestnut Hill residents. So I really would like to know how our residents feel about the direction everything's going. So,
Why don't you ask if everybody is aware of what...
Yeah. Everybody understand what's going on at this point? Or
Yeah, let me ask you. I see that C4 up there.
Yeah.
The sign, it doesn't say anything except C4.
Right.
He's trying to get it rezoned. What is it now?
C2.
C2?
And the reason that he wants to do that, Doris, is because he has a deal with the Fiat dealership.
No, I understand.
And the only way to do that is to have a C4.
I understand that. Does anybody know anything about the other lot
Which one?
that was just sold?
That will be a private residence.
The lady's buying, she's putting a modular home on it. Is what we've been told. A guy that used to live in the neighborhood who moved over to Edgewater Beach said he had verified that with the county and saw the building permit, and they're putting a $90,000 modular home on it. So that guy didn't, the dealership guy didn't do it. That's what a lot of
And Frank spoke with her the other day, and she said she hopes to have it done within 18 months.
Yeah.
modules go up quick.
12 months. Yeah.
Well, with all the permits and everything.
Because her property doesn't belong to either Chestnut Hill or Edgewater Beach.
There's a tweener, huh?
Yep. So, as far as a membership goes, she'll have to apply to whichever beach or both beaches, whatever she wants to do for membership. So she did comment to me that she wants to get involved and enjoy the beach. So everybody's up to date basically on C4 versus C2, and the stipulation from George Criswell basically is he wants to put a car dealership in because that's what he does, and that's what he's done for the last 20 plus years.
Anybody read the article in the paper last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I did.
Oh, you did? It was an article about it trying to explain some of the things. But they sort of made it sort of like after, if he doesn't sell it, I mean, he can't use it, then he's going to sell it to maybe somebody like Hot State, just nonsense stuff.
Well, the catch-22 basically is any C2 that applies for a rental that he wants to take as a tenant, he can give occupancy to without going through the community because they're already approved under the zoning. And one of the items that's approved under the zoning is fast food. And he told us, he told us in a meeting that he has a fast food that wants 3/4 of an acre, and he has another retail business that wants the other half acre. So we're looking at 2 retail establishments on the business. And then the other item is we don't know what fast food it is, so we don't know what their hours are. Because fast food can run 14, 16, 18, even 24 hours a day, depending on zoning and whether they serve breakfast as well as dinner and all that stuff.
Have we done anything? I'm sorry because I'm not sure just what's been going on. Have we done anything at all other than going to meetings? Has there been such a rain for us to sign? Have there been meetings in town?
There's one coming up Monday evening at the Wellness Center, in which this thing gets presented again.
And that's what's going to be, the C4 idea is going to get presented at that meeting?
It was presented at the last one.
Right.
And this is an opportunity for everybody to express their opinions. And at the moment, Edgewater Beach and Chestnut Hill are in agreement to fight it. And that's what the petition is all about. And the surrounding communities have all agreed to support whatever stand we take.
Was there a petition sent around?
Yeah.
We can make sure it comes over to your house before the weekend's over.
Mrs. Hasler, I think the day that I came by your house, you weren't there, but I do have a copy of the petition. I can have you sign it. As long as it gets done over the weekend in time for Monday, we're good. So I can bring that back to you.
I didn't even know there was a petition.
Right, well, that came up at the meeting last Sunday. Right. It was voted on there, the people that attended it, most of us agree with the C4. Because the problem with the C4 is not his dealership now, it's what can happen after his dealership.
But you also have to understand that if you go in agreement with him on C4, you can review the 96 different businesses and you can eliminate those that you don't want to see. And that will run 30, 40 years for the life of the property.
And again, I don't know. I do know the county told us that when that property was sold, that the access to our community and trees, etc. Somehow the deed says when you can go into it. My opinion is I can't make
It's not Criswell, it was the county, because Criswell had nothing to do with that property.
I don't know.
2 people are party to it.
But
2 sets of
he
attorneys.
had nothing to do with that property, and that property didn't go up for sale. That's quite a while ago.
When he purchased it directly from the county, and that's when the deed would have been formed. They would have made an agreement with the community probably a year or 2 prior to the time they did the auction and sold it.
They did.
I actually looked at the letters and I can see that there's about an 18-month gap. So during that point, both parties on the sale would have worked on the deed, and I would imagine that Criswell's attorney would have presented a deed language that they would have found somebody in the county would have signed the property. And that's what I would think
Well,
would
we
happen.
weren't represented by a attorney, and that was our decision. I think we needed it because of the county.
Well, and there again,
Yeah, I know.
can't trust anything.
No, you can't. If you go to make any change whatsoever, you're going to have to hire an attorney. That's why we have them right here. Thanks, Stephen.
Can I just make a comment about the covenant issue? Because I was kind of questioning this yesterday after Judy and I spoke. I wasn't sure that I was interpreting the whole concept of the covenant correctly. So I did call Buddy Garland last night, and he said that what the covenants that Mr. Criswell have been referring to basically are just use covenants,
Right.
which is basically just an agreement between him
That's right.
and our community. It's
Right.
not deed covenants that he's agreeing to at this point, at least up until Sunday. And it's the deed covenants are the covenants that would transfer if he decides to sell. In other words, whatever covenants he's agreeing to with us really are not valid for someone who's going to be purchasing. It would not transfer valid for him.
The ones that transfer and are enforceable by county law, and the county puts the bill, are deed restrictions. Covenants, you as a private person have to enforce. And that's why, if you go into agreement like that, you try to get someone like Criswell to provide a fund.
Well, Buddy said that right at this point, at least as of Sunday, he was not agreeing to or referring to any covenants or restrictions that would be transferable on sale.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody had a chance to take the document that they gave at the meeting, but if you read past page 1, it starts talking about all the different ways that the covenants can be by agreement by the two parties. It doesn't have to be parties per law. It can be parties lease, parties in sale, not parties.
Well, prime example, even with the deed restrictions. Judy and I complained to Ed Riley, the accountant, for a year and a half, 2 years, about closing other alternatives. And Ed Riley said, not until we have a full-time resident, are we going to enforce this law.
Maybe they did a good job closing off of them first.
That doesn't make any difference. It's irrelevant at the moment. But I really just thought we'd have a meeting to discuss, see how everyone felt, and whether or not they have any comments they'd like to add, or any difference of opinion from what's being said in Edgewater Beach, because there's not much discussion on our neighborhood now.
I didn't make the Edgewater Beach. What happened in Edgewater Beach? They signed a petition, and what else?
They
petitioned to stop them, to stop this guy. Yeah.
They petitioned to stay as is, a C2.
Okay.
And to hang tight as a unit against George Criswell, and submit that tomorrow Monday night at the county council meeting.
And to list as much community support as is available, which is quite substantial. Community across the highway, South Downs.
You've got 5 communities that will back us.
Sunnyside, Shadyside, whichever one it is.
Something ridiculous like that.
And Walker responded to my email. He was not presenting the amendment from Monday.
I can't hear.
I was quite wonderful. Talked to Buddy, and he said, yeah, but
It'll be posted on the 1st. I think this is the hearing possibilities of on Monday.
we need to be there to let them know how we feel, so they can think about that.
You're right.
Good. Monday.
Is the real
You want to put your chair down there?
No.
And actually, it's not a vote. It's kind of like the last thing. I think the vote was a day or 2 later. I think like August 5th or something.
I don't know.
But anyway, I just wanted to how everyone felt, whether anyone had a difference of opinion or a different direction they'd like to see taken, or additional comments brought up at any of the meetings.
I think it's very important that we all act, in the interest of what everybody wants. I personally have no interest in him getting a Seaport zone. I'm not opposed to him having a car dealership, but I am really opposed to him getting a blank check to do whatever it is that have a Seaport. In my opinion, in reality.
Well, would a covenant require him to only build that, or other things that we would stipulate in the covenant itself? For example, if he were to not be able to succeed with a dealership because of codes and so on and so forth, couldn't we restrict him as to what else he could build there by way of a covenant, or is that not enforceable? Or
it's only enforceable.
Because I'm afraid we're looking at I'm afraid we're looking at gift horse in the mouth, that we could live with a dealership, but if we don't allow him to build that, will he sell, or will he build something else that we really don't want? under C2, which he can do right now.
Yeah.
Like a 24-hour fast food restaurant, which none of us.
And he's already said that's what his intention.
I know. I mean, he's
Supposedly
only hostile, and that's what
I would say that too if I wanted you to do C4. So, I'll throw that out there. I mean, I honestly feel like that's strong arming to say that. I can't imagine one corporate real estate person who would sign a lease in that space when there's still numerous other leasing opportunities in buildings that have easy access, newer structures. This obviously would have to be built new, so they're talking year and a half down the road. There's still a ton of opportunity. Wherever the Five Guys is, there's some spots there.
There's a lot of vacant real estate, but I'm in real estate, and I'm a new guy on the block, but one thing we really need to keep in mind, guys, is, and I'm not on the guys, I'm neutral, but everybody needs to know this. He can put some things in there that can make our life miserable. And you all can sit here and stomp your feet. I was embarrassed when I went to that meeting of what went on. I'm gonna tell you what, that is not how a community stands together. I don't know how you all felt, but I was embarrassed. I walked out. I said, this is ridiculous. But being in real estate, all I can tell you is, if you don't work with the guy, then yeah, he can probably put something in there and be vindictive and make our life miserable if he wants to. He has, and if you look at that list of things he can put in there, it's not something you want. There's some things in there we definitely don't want. So we got to work together. That's all there is,
But he wants to sell cars, though, JJ. Remember that. So he's not going to be that vindictive.
Right.
In a way.
But he could always sell it to somebody, and
he can be.
He can bring a partner in. He can say he sold it because it doesn't affect him personally. But I think he could still,
and he could still sell it too.
Yeah.
Just because he says he's going to put a Fiat dealership in there.
Well, yeah, he could get C4 and tell us to go pound sand.
But didn't he say he was going to invest $4 or $5 million in a dealership?
Yeah.
After he's already invested $2 million in the property, that doesn't make sense to me.
That's worth $1
Not for a Fiat dealership. I don't see.
So the other thing to remember with the Fiat dealership is that's not a long-term proposition, because they're going to start bringing the Alfa Romeos in, and a spot with a footprint that small is not sustainable for the long term.
It is. It's too small. Way too small.
It's going to have a 60-foot setback because that's a state highway. And, the list goes on and on. So I'm not even sure he can build what is required by Fiat without getting variances. If you get a variance, then you have to go through the administrative process anyway. And the deadline for receiving, the offer from Fiat is September 20th. So it strikes me as pretty unlikely. It's just an opportunity for him to get C4 zoning and go for 85% density as opposed to 75%. Strikes me as pretty unlikely.
You're saying if we go along with his C4, we can't restrict like he said we could in the meeting? No?
Government's going to convey. Sell it to somebody else. I mean, in your opinion, how much more is the C4 zone property worth than a C2?
Doubles the value.
Right.
Because there's hardly any C4.
Yeah.
So, and you can do almost anything with C4.
Yeah. And C2 allows the fast food, right?
Yeah.
That is one of about, really, there's not many truly objections. There are some things you don't want in there, particularly, but you got to think from the perspective, I'm never going to buy a Fiat, so that has no utility. I do eat. So, even if a fast food joint is not what you want there,
I don't know if you
some
mean.
uses.
I don't want to be awake at 1 o'clock in the night, somebody asking to supersize it.
I'll switch with you. You can move in my house and listen to it, and I'll move down here.
I absolutely agree, but I just think that there's a lot more possibility for good things to happen under C2 as opposed to almost all. Yeah, but almost everything in C4 is objectionable.
Well, whatever goes in there, we have to protect our neighbors that live on Virginia Avenue because they, and also those of us that are on Chestnut that are within eye shot and hearing. Everybody on Virginia Avenue and halfway down Chestnut are going to be more affected than anybody else because everybody else just drives by it. Not that some of you won't hear it, but not as much as everybody on Virginia Avenue. And I think we need to be considerate of them And when things get tough, we have to stand united and just say what we want and what we don't want for the benefit of everybody.
From my perspective, I just think C2 has a better chance of being desirable than pretty much anything in C4. I don't wish fast food restaurant on anybody who looks to do it.
I'm thinking about going in and out. You know yourself right now how going in and out. Is it going to complicate that, you think?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know either.
I don't think so.
Well, the way that I see it, June, is that in order to get in, you're going to be having to go south, and to get out, or south, and then to get out, you got to go south and make a U-turn somewhere.
Yeah, if you're going north, you're going
And some of the, a lot of people make that little U-turn right there when you come out of Lee Collison Road.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when people are going over to the funeral home and avoiding the light, and they make that little U-turn there.
Oh, they make the illegal U-turn, right?
They do.
No. Yeah,
And they go through that. They go through a red light all the time.
Yeah.
Billy's out there yelling, "You stupid idiot, can't you read some?"
It's only what they want to
They
say.
don't pay any attention to it.
How many people go when they're trying to get into the neighborhood and make a U-turn right there so they don't go around the clover leaf?
I've done that before.
Well, shame on you.
You do that all the time.
There
Hey,
you
if the
go.
light's starting to turn yellow, buddy.
Right. Yeah.
Gotta go. Gotta go.
Because one day I got tired of sitting at that traffic light for 15 minutes
I know.
before I got to it.
I've called the state highway many times getting that light reorganized.
Before that light was back.
Yeah, we've done that.
I think we've all done it once or twice.
Yeah.
So what's the deal,
Tell
folks?
me. I didn't. You tapped me on the leg.
What you're saying, where does that leave us?
Yeah, I'm saying it. What are we gonna do, folks? It's Friday night. Beautiful night. And I hate to tell you, but the boat's calling my name. So what are we gonna
There you
do?
go.
Well, I've already signed the petition.
So the petition is to stop it.
Yes.
That's how are we gonna? Whoever wants to sign it, how are you gonna get it around?
Lisa has access to it.
Yeah.
Is it one per household or
Each owner can sign it.
I signed mine when he started passing the petition. I signed it that night.
You didn't sign it?
I ain't never seen it. I didn't know about the meeting until somebody told me. I'm a redheaded stepchild. I'm the new guy.
Call for questions or comments.
I had a guy call me. He was at my house. Your car's here.
I should have gone to Call of Duty so we should support the people our neighbors on Virginia.
Absolutely. It's important to be united.
Yeah.
Listen, we hear it and we see it. Backyard, front yard.
And it'd be nice if they didn't do anything. Realistic, a guy put that kind of
We
money into it.
can go out our back door and we see giant lights 24/7. So
We just gotta hope that he's discouraged with fast food there, because it's really not a good spot for
I've
him.
talked to a lot of people that know this guy and know this guy personally. He's an up-class citizen. He's first class. He doesn't pull no punches. From what I've heard of him.
Yeah.
But money talks.
Yeah.
it does, but he also said that he does not want to ruffle anybody's feathers. He wants to work with us, but let's be honest, the man is a businessman. He has to make money. He has sat on this property for 5 years with no income. I don't know how he's gotten away with it, unless he has a nice big wad of money sitting in his backyard.
Yeah.
But he
In the car
has
dealership
he
business.
has to do something.